I'm muted. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you today? Hope you're all well and getting ready for the summer holidays. SubhanAllah. I hope that everyone is getting ready really well and looking forward to them. Now, I know that some parents are not really looking forward to the summer holidays, so we actually asked in one of the groups, and I'm just going to have a quick read of the comments here that they had. They said that they're worried about the kids. They don't want to hear them moaning that they're bored. The sleeping time and the wake up time and the routine is changing because it's really hot where they are. The kids are always inside the house eating everything. They want to take their kids out for outings more, and even the fact that they have to still wake up and do housework during the holidays, but obviously they've got the kids around. That's really hard. And I just thought, you know what, sisters, it can be easier. We can make it easier for you. Inshallah, let's hack this whole holiday thing and let's make it more enjoyable and interesting for you and for the children, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Please write your names or give StreamYard permission, then I can see your names. She said that she loves the summer holidays and she's sick of waking up his son when he's got his phone. That's fantastic. So we were actually talking about that this morning in Homeschool Like a Pro, like the fact that you're not in a routine of sorts while you're in the holidays. So sometimes things get left behind, so you don't do the things, or sometimes the timing of your activities gets changed, and that's okay, inshallah, because what we're trying to do today is we're looking at some techniques that we can use to make the whole holiday idea easier, right? Okay, so we're trying to make it more interesting, more enjoyable for the kids and for you. Like what I wanted to share today, actually, I can show you this lovely picture of a mint tea and Ali. If any of you live abroad or go to Middle Eastern restaurants in the UK or America, I'm sure you'll have tasted these. And I wanted to share it because I want you to understand, or I want you to realize that when we're talking about hacking the holidays, we're doing it to make your life easier so that you can enjoy them as much as with the children. And this morning I had a question within the free group that we have, Your Parenting Tribe, which is basically about the which is about the holidays. I just want to just quickly share the group for you because I know sometimes people ask me to share it, so I'm going to share it right now so that you can join us and talk about these things on a daily basis. But what the question that the sister said was about why do we get the kids, or why do we not talk about obedience with our children? And the thing is that this is actually a misconception with positive, peaceful parenting. We don't want them to be disciplined. No, sorry, we do want them to be disciplined. We do want them to be obedient. We do want them to enjoy what they're doing, and we want the idea, I think, that is different to other types of parenting is that we want them to feel like doing that themselves. That's a bit of a different idea to being obedient because we've just told you, I told you to do that, now do it, right? Now, I'm not saying that we don't do that, we do, right? But like I said, it's within certain constraints or certain let's say boundaries that we've got, right? So within the boundary of I'm your mum and I want you to do this thing, so you've got to do it. At that point, the children do have to understand, wait a second, you know what, she's asked me to do this, I need to do it, end of story. So in those situations, there's no real questioning about it, because you know as a mother that you're not going to tell them to do something that is, you know, un-Islamic or out of the bounds of what normal kids have to do. You're not going to tell them to do something dangerous. You're not going to tell them to do something that is beyond their capability, right? So as a mother, I think that you have got full reign on the fact that if you want them to do something, they should be able to do it, and they should do it without questioning. However, a lot of parents get backchat from the kids, answering back, wait, why do I have to do this? Why are you making me do that? Why can't she do it? Which a lot of the time you might get. So we're going to just dissect that a little bit and kind of make it relevant to holidays as well. So we're going to talk about that later on today. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is the different types of parenting, because that comes into what you're like in the holidays and what that does for you and your break. So how does it help you have a better break or have a better holiday if you are a different kind of parent, right? So there are a few different parents here, right? There's the overprotective ones. There's the ones that are always in a power struggle. There are permissive parents. There are neglectful parents, authoritarian parents, and the one that I like, or the one that I think I am, is the authoritative parent, which means that you are able to get them to do what you need them to do, but you're not permissive. You don't just let them get away with whatever they want. And you're not authoritarian, which means that you tell them all the time, that's what you want to do, that's what you will need to do, that's what you need. No, we're a bit of a mix of both, right? And there was another, did I download it? Oh, I did here. Okay, this is actually the spectrum that we're on, right? So I would say that this area here is where you always want to be within your parenting. So you've got these two ideas of compassion and control. So if you are a very strict parent compared to soft parent, okay, or if you're a very supportive parent compared to distant parent, right? So someone who's really strict but then they're kind of distant with their kids, you would describe them as more of a drill sergeant. Like, they come in, tell them what to do it, and that's it. No questions. Don't tell me what I want. Da, 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 da. No, that's it. That's what you're doing. Right? Okay. There's the teddy bear, which they take advantage of you because you're supportive, you like them, you want them to be happy and all the rest of it, but then you're too soft. You're not in control of you're being too soft with them. You're letting them get away with too many things. So you're in the teddy bear section. Alhamdulillah, if you guys are watching this live, then I'm pretty sure that most of you are not ghost parents, but I guess some of you might be co-parenting with a ghost parent. You might be co-parenting with someone who is either too soft and too distant, or you might be co-parenting with a parent that is any of these three, but you are firmly in the warm leader section. Again, because if you're following this, if you're in our tribe, if you've been watching all our videos and you've been putting these things into practice, then we would aim to support you to get into this side of the spectrum. Now, that doesn't mean that you're never the drill sergeant or you are never the teddy bear, right? Because sometimes you might have to be. Sometimes you might have to be like, you know what, guys, I've had enough. I need this room cleaned, and that's it. And you're not really listening to any questions or anything about it. But because you are normally the warm leader, because you're normally talking to them, you're normally in that mode of, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Shall we do it together? You're normally in that mood. So what I say is that you've built up credit with your children. So when it comes to, guys, you know what, we've just got to sort out this room. Like, you don't have to say, that's it, everyone clean the room. You don't have to be argumentative. You don't have to be so loud with them, because you've got that warm leadership control with them. You are with them. You understand how they feel. You've been kind of flexible with them. Like, if they've got tasks to do, or if they're watching if they're watching something and you're like, all right, you know what, they're in the middle of a movie here, I can't get them to clean the room, I'll wait a little bit, right? So you've still got those elements of warm leadership, but you still get them to do what you need to do. The opposite of that is that teddy bear parenting, where you're kind of like, you just let them get away with anything that they like, right? And because of this, you might find yourself in one of these kind of situations where it looks like you're too permissive and you just let them get away with anything. Or you're always in a power struggle, like, no, I want you to do this. No, I want to do that. No, I want you to do this, right? So we need to get into that balanced area so that when we have the holidays, we can be like sorted and we can be like, right, I'm going to have a wonderful holiday because I know that my children are going to follow the instructions, they're going to listen, we're going to have fun, but as Monica says in Friends, we're going to have organized fun, right? Sometimes my kids say to me like, mate, that's not funny, that is not fun for us. And that's fine because you are authoritative, so you are understanding of what their idea of fun is compared to your idea of fun. You understand what they're into and you want them to enjoy the holidays as well, so you're going to give them some leeway on that, but you're also not going to just let them get on with it. And for example, my girls might be like, oh, I want to go shopping all day, let's say, for example. You'd be like, well, we'll go shopping, but we're also going to do XYZ. So there's always that balance, and it's difficult. It's not easy to have a fully balanced childhood, parenthood, and your family's always balanced, your meals are always balanced, the exercise is always balanced. Of course it's difficult, but we're talking about getting that balance right, yeah, inshallah. So this is what I want to talk about. One of the things that has come up this morning is about motivating the children to do things. So obviously during the holidays, you want the house to stay clean. You want them to enjoy the holidays. You want them to have some time off, and you want to have some me time and some time off, like I said, with your nice cup of mint tea and your Ali, your dessert, right? Okay, so you want to have some time off for yourself. So when we put all of these elements into place, inshallah, we're going to have that good time, inshallah. That's what we're hoping for. One of the things that parents want to do during the holidays is encourage their children to start practicing the next milestone in Islam, right? So I think actually this morning somebody shared it on our group. Was it you, Anjum? I think she shared it on the Inner Tribe today. And the funny thing is, I've actually searched for the evidence of this as well, right? But it's attributed to different companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So this one is attributed to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and there's also the same thing that's attributed to Hazrat Ali, right? Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So the thing is, play with them, the children, for 7 years, teach them for 7 years, and then be their friend for 7 years. And this is our motto, right? This is like one of the fundamental parts of parenting with Allah by my side, because what we're trying to do is be their friends in the end, right? We want them to come to us when they have problems. We want them to talk to us. We want that conversation to be open and out in the open. We don't want them to do things behind our back, whether it's difficult for you to hear these things, and it is difficult. I've just had something to listen to the other day that I thought, oh my God, and my daughter was like, but Mum, you want me to tell you stuff? And I'm like, I do, I really do, I really do. So you have to like tell yourself that you're glad that they're telling you these things. They might be difficult to hear. I know some kids are sharing with their parents what's going on at school, and it might be difficult to hear. But if you are authoritative, whereas the parenting and the friendship go hand in hand, then inshallah you will find it easier and easier to talk about it. Like I said, after subhanallah 20 years of parenting, I still find some things hard, right? So no one's ever going to say that you're going to be a perfect parent, right? We all know that we don't believe in a perfect parent. We do the best that we can with the resources we have in the time that we have, with the financial resources, with the time that we have, with the other work what's it called, responsibilities that we have, and so on, right? Okay, so no one ever says that you have to be a perfect parent, but creating that atmosphere where you can be a good parent, or someone that tries hard with their parenting and realizes that it's actually your job to try to be a good parent and as good as possible, then that means that you'll find these other aspects a lot easier to come by. I hope that everyone's well, inshallah. I'm taking a little breather there just to give you guys some time to join in. I know that the email pretty much went out at the same time as the live started, which I apologize for. But inshallah, hopefully you're all joining in now. And we're talking about hacking your summer holiday and giving you some techniques for effective parenting during the summer. Because as some of you know, or as a lot of us know, when it gets to the summer holidays, the routine goes out the window, the plans go. Sometimes we don't have that schedule that's keeping everyone kind of grounded, right? So we need to find things that can anchor them. So we can have, for example, every Saturday they have a, let's say, Quran class, for example. That anchors your week, because you know that the Saturday you have something scheduled all the time. Maybe if you've got lots of friends, or the kids have got lots of friends, or you've got family, you want to go for a holiday, you know those 2 weeks are going to be like free for all the time. You can have like some certain things that are going on that you can be more mindful about, that the kids can be more mindful about as well. About the we talked last week as well about the food and the snacks, and being in control of what they're doing, but not being so, again, like I said, so strict on them. Give them a little bit of leeway, right? It's holidays. Okay, you guys can have dessert 3 or 4 times a week rather than once a week. You can have takeaway twice a week. Whatever it is that gives you a bit of time to de-stress as well, because term time is hard, especially if your kids are at school, where you've got that whole rushing in the morning of get them ready, get them out, get their lunches done, and so on, right? It's difficult, it's not easy. So what we need to do is we need to create this atmosphere at home that allows them to be all allows them to de-stress and kind of compress from the year, but also keeps that discipline and that framework in place, so that they don't go completely off the rails. Okay, as I'm talking about this, I just want to share our Guess Who game that we created for you guys. I created this a couple of years ago, actually, so if you've already downloaded it, that's fine. I've reshared it for Eid, and the reason I reshared it, on top of the fact that it's a good game to play for the kids to learn about Hajj and everything, it's one of the activities that you could do this holiday with them, right? Okay, and if you're like me, you can use that same resource. It's one resource, and you can keep teaching them about the same thing. You can talk about it. You can make it last as long as you want. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of people go for like, oh, we're going to do this, and then tomorrow we're going to do that, and then the next day we're going to do that. You don't have to do lots of different activities the whole time. Yeah. One sister's saying that summer holidays are my everyday life. I'm sure that you're a homeschooler, which is fantastic for you, right? Okay, so if you're already homeschooling, then you've probably got some of these hacks in place already, right? So if you want, please do share, come in, share your hacks, share your comments, let us know what you're doing with your children, so that we can all really help and basically help each other, which is fantastic, inshallah. So like I said, about the question this morning is about the summer holidays, and about hacking those summer holidays to make them easier for you as a parent, to get people to... Oh, sorry, am I getting WhatsApp messages? I'm not even noticing them, sorry. Sorry. Give me 1 second, sisters. Apologies. I've got something going on. We've got some kind of echoiness going on. Here we are. Okay, I think it should all be off now. Just give me 1 more second. Sorry. I have some sisters in the background helping me out here. There we are. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's going back to the techniques. Now I know that must be Yusra who said that. Summer holidays are our everyday life. That must have been Yusra, right? So anyway, going back to this is about motivating the children to have a nice, lovely summer, inshallah. And I've told you guys before that, what you can do is you can have certain times of the day where they're allowed to go on devices, because we can't pull the kids off it completely. What happened to you? Sorry, just 1 second. There you go. Okay. So we can't pull them off completely, but as long as we know that we're using these devices or we're using this technology to support them in whatever they're doing, right? Okay, or they're getting some skills from it, or they're learning something from it, or they're having their me time, they're having their enjoyment from watching whatever video. Like she watches the Elsia and Ania videos, right? Okay, they're just a couple of girls playing with their dolls, yeah. So if they're getting something out of it, and like I said, it doesn't have to be something educational, it can just be like that's their relaxation time. As long as that's happening, then you can use that to encourage them to be more with you during the rest of the day when you've got all of these other things going on. Now, when we're talking about kids helping you, we've got to understand this word about motivation, right? This word motivation. So there's intrinsic motivation, which is an inner drive with the child that they want to engage in that activity because they like doing that activity. They find it interesting. They find it engaging. They find it satisfying. And then there's extrinsic motivation, which is where you're going to give them some kind of a reward for doing that activity. Now, there's no such, you can tell I'm in England now, right? So you don't have to worry about the fact that, oh, you know what, I don't want to use reward stickers, or I'm never going to use reward stickers with my kids, right? You don't have to worry that you're giving them extrinsic motivation and you're providing them with that reward is going to ever limit their behavior or what they do in the future, right? That's not going to happen. A lot of people worry that, oh, you know what, if I give my kids sweets when they pray, that means they're always going to expect sweets, and if they never get a sweet, they're not going to pray again. That doesn't really happen. What this motivation and it is you, Yusra, what motivation does is it motivates them to start, and in most cases, it motivates them to continue doing it. Now, having a child that prays, honestly, I don't think it's a direct reflection of your parenting, because there are some parents that don't do anything and mashallah their children pray 5 times a day without any additional input by the parent, and there are some parents that try their best and really encourage their kids and work hard with them and still they don't pray, right? So there's nothing to prove one way of motivation is better than another way of motivation. That's what I'm trying to say here. So if you think that giving your child a treat, or letting them choose what's for dinner that day, or letting them do their favorite arts and crafts activity will motivate them to pray, then do it. Like if that's one of the things that will encourage them to pray their salah, for example, then do it. I don't think there's anything to stop yourself, to stop them, because it's not going to be like, oh, if you didn't let me do that, I'm not going to pray. Do you understand what I mean? So there's a little bit of a discrepancy there that I just wanted to kind of mention. Okay. When you take out the extrinsic reward, so if you, for example, say, right, okay, so you're going to pray now, but there's not going to be any reward in it, and you see a difference in the child, then you know that they were only doing it for that reward. But if you say, hey guys, come on, let's go and pray, then you know that it's beyond the reward. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's go back to motivation and motivating the kids. So the first thing that we need to do is incorporate the students, the children, into the experience that we want. So one of the ladies today was talking about her husband asked her kids, how do they want their summer to go? What kind of things would you like to do in the summer? Let them choose. So for example, for me, I love animals. My 9-year-old loves animals, so I'm always looking for activities in the zoo, in the farm, in the park. Like if it's something to do with animals, I'll be like interested in nature and wildlife, right? So will my 9-year-old, my 6-year-old to some extent as well. But then the older kids are like, Mom, another farm, really? Right? So you've got to decide now with your children what they would like to do. So maybe they're like, all right, you know what? We'll accept going to the farm once a week, or we'll accept once a fortnight, every 2 weeks. But that's it, Mum. Okay, or in the entire holiday, we can have 3 or 2 animal-based activities. The rest of it is what we want to do. And that's absolutely fine, because what you're trying to do is get them to decide what they want to do as kids, and they will enjoy it. They'll be engaged. They'll be interested in it, rather than it's all based on you. Now, the example that I used there was going out and having an activity, but it could be about the home, right? Because I know a lot of parents, they struggle with keeping the house tidy during the holidays, and I'll be honest with you, I find it so annoying sometimes, because whether I'm at my mum's or whether I'm at my in-laws, we are all in one room, which means that I've got to have systems in place that make us be able to sleep in the same room, and have our daily what's the word, let them do their day-to-day activities in the same room. It needs to be something that we can unpack and repack quickly. Do you get what I mean? So there's all of those things that you've got to have, which is basically to do with you and your organization, and then teaching the kids to get the room unpacked into bed sort of area. Like at the moment, it is still in the bed, what's it called, in the bed format, because we've still got the mattresses out on the floor. Okay, but at some point during the day, we need to pack it back into the daytime format, right? So being able to unpack it and repack it is something that the kids are involved in. So something that we have to do every day, something that is not really negotiable, it's got to be done. So incorporating them in that and asking them, which bit do you want to do? Do you prefer folding the blankets up, or do you prefer putting the mattress back under the bed? Like deciding what they like to do is going to help you to figure out and help you to have that extra I feel like saying control, but having that extra kind of command over it all, right? Or overall, inshallah. Maybe the kids are really annoyed with the fact that we have to keep on folding up the blankets every day, because like at home you can just leave them where they are, right? Maybe that's something annoying to them. So what you can do is challenge them, and challenging your children is one of the best ways to teach them to think outside of the box, to think critically, to think openly, to be a bit more open-minded, right? So all of these skills that we want them to learn is could be based on a challenge. So you find me the best way to deal with these blankets, right? If you guys don't want to fold them up, that's fine, right? So they've actually, my sister-in-law actually gave them this bag over here that we can just keep all the blankets in. We don't need to fold them every single day. So the point is that giving giving them time, giving them the opportunity to look for a different way to deal with the same problem. So it might make sense to me to fold them all up every day, but it might not make sense to them. They just want to get downstairs, get on with their day, sort of thing. So they don't want to be in the room tidying up all day. That's absolutely fine. So figure out a different way to do things. And it might not seem let's say, like the best use of time to you. It might not seem the easiest way to you. It might not seem, let's say, the most efficient way to you, right? But it doesn't matter, because this is their solution. So getting them motivated to do it depends on them being interested in it. So you get them interested, they'll do it for you, whether you agree with it or not. Does that make sense? So as long as it's not going against, like some major part of your parenting or your religion or something like that, then let them get on with it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach them to be independent, to decide what they want to do, rather than we're always telling them what to do, right? Okay, take a little breather. How are you guys doing? What's going on with the comments? If you have any comments, please do add them in. If you have any questions, please do send them in. And let me know if there's anything that you would like me to answer today. Like I said, we're talking about hacking your holiday, right? So trying to bring in the ideas to keep your holidays going in a nice format. Let's say in a nice format. What's a better way of saying a nice format? Yeah. Okay. Again, the things like this that come up with the kids, right? If they're talking about something and they say nice format, and you're like, hang on a minute, is there a better way to say that? Use it all as a teaching experience. Yeah. Okay. So let's say effective, a better way, and a more effective way, a more efficient way to enjoy your holidays. Because one of the things that we kind of forget is that even though you're on holiday, you're still washing, cleaning, ironing, cooking, right? Because even if you're on holiday, like I am at the moment, I'm staying at different relatives' houses. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tawhida. Assalamu alaikum. So we are staying at different people's houses. So I'm not going to be able to do what I do at home, which is, for example, I'll make breakfast and I'll just leave the dishes in the sink and I'll come back to it an hour later and no one really minds. Yeah. Okay. Because it's not my house. I've got to go with the rules of the house. So when I'm at my mum's, I can do that. It's not a problem because my mum doesn't mind at all. Right. If I just leave it for half an hour and have a cup of tea before I wash up. But when I'm at other people's house, they're like a bit more they've got a bit more of a routine, or they've got like this thing about not having dishes in the sink. Yeah. And if you guys remember, one of my hacks to get out of the house is to just cover up the sink and walk out the house and deal with it when you come back. Because at the end of the day, you could wash dishes at midnight if you had to, right? Okay, but can you do your shopping before 5 o'clock? I mean, in England, everything shuts so flipping early, doesn't it? Does anyone have that bugbear? Let me know if you're from a different country and you come to England and you're like, whoa, man, you guys close your shops too early. Yeah. Okay. The parks closes when it gets dark, things like that. So the things that can wait, let them wait. Right. But the things that you have to do them, inshallah. Right. So we're talking about motivating the kids to basically and help you enjoy those holidays better. Okay. One of the things that we said was let the children decide. So maybe you could have like a family vision of what you want the holidays to be like. Yeah. So your family is deciding that their holidays are going to be adventurous. Mum, I want to have an adventure every day. And you're like, oh my God, what can I give you as an adventure every day? Right. But once you start thinking, right, you can do things like, right, okay, you're going to walk somewhere. We as a family have walked from here where we live in Wandsworth to Tooting, which is about, I'd say 10-15 minutes in a car, but to walk there takes at least an hour and a half, right? So walking to Tooting has been one of our like fun activities to do. Yesterday we went out, had to go and give some documents in. So when we were sorting that out, we took a very different way back through the city back home because it was after 6, so we could go through the city without congestion charge. And just seeing all the different sites that we don't normally see when we drive through, right? That can still be an adventure. Doing something differently to how you normally do it can be adventurous to your kids. So you might think to yourself, how am I going to make a holiday adventurous for my kids? But just letting them do something that you've never let them do before can be adventurous to the kids. Yeah. So let them decide how they want the holiday to be, and then give them opportunities to do that. Tawhida, do you have more of that question? It just says, how do we, and then it stopped. Okay. Another way to motivate them, which a lot of the time we do, is reward them, right? So like, okay, if you tidy this room, I'm going to give you an extra half an hour of screen time, or I'm going to give you half an hour extra in the park, or I'll call one of your friends over for a play date, right? So you decide on what your reward is and what the job is for them to do to get that reward. Okay, what if you did something slightly different where you measure the progress and you give them time for it? So for example, if you wanted them to tidy their room, right, you've got to be like understanding of the fact that it won't take just a day to do a whole room. So give them like small challenges that they can do within a certain amount of time so that they don't become demotivated. So for example, can you sort out that drawer for me? Can you sort out Hafsa and Suleiman, they've got those beds with the drawers at the bottom, right? So can you sort out one drawer? That's it. Just like, don't make it hard for them. Make it as easy as possible. Can you sort out that bookshelf for me? Just one shelf, so that it can be something that they can do, and you can measure the progress as you can be like, wow, thanks for that. I really appreciate that you cleaned that shelf, and you showed a lot of creativity there by putting the books in colorful order, whatever it is, or you know what I mean. So just give them enough time that they might take a long time to do things, which you might be able to clean a bookshelf in 5 minutes and organize it all and get it all done. Because the way a mother works is different, because we don't have a lot of time, so we just try and do things quickly. The kids might take a whole day on one shelf. That's okay. They might have breaks. They might go on, they might go and drink something or get something to eat in the middle. That's absolutely fine. Just give them the chance to take their time, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to enjoy the work as much as we're trying to encourage them to finish those tasks off that we need finished. Yeah. Remember that if the child knows their purpose, right? So I'm sure that as Muslims, we keep encouraging them and telling them what their purpose is in life, right? Okay, so what's your purpose in life, right? You're a Muslim, you were made to worship Allah, right? Subhanahu wa ta'ala, your purpose is to worship him. Your purpose is to pray, right? And we have to pray 5 times a day. We're Muslims. Going through the story of how Islam was revealed, you realize that it was revealed over 23 years. So if it takes you a long time, like some people are like, my child is 7, they should be praying 5 times a day without any problems. Why are they not praying? Or my child is 12, why are they not praying 5 times a day? Right? Just remember that it's a process, right? It's not an end result, it's a process. And we all go through kind of like what they call, one of the imams, was it Imam Siraj? He used to say this, that we have a iman rush, right? So at certain times of the day or the month or the week or the year, we're like really on it with our prayers, fasting, everything that we're doing. And then sometimes, because we're human and we're not perfect, sometimes we kind of go down a little hill as well, right? So we're going downhill. So what our purpose is when we're on those downhills, to help our kids or push them back towards the uphill. That's all we're doing. And we're not forcing them, we're encouraging them, we're showing them, we're modeling for them, we're showing by example. So if you decide that you're on holiday, because a lot of working moms just like me, you know, when you're busy in the school term time and you're like, oh man, that's it, I just want to rest now, I just want to relax, right? If you're sitting reading a book, your kids will grab a book and read with you. If you are sitting scrolling on your phone, they will want to scroll on a phone too. If you're sitting there binge watching stuff on Netflix, they will binge watch on Netflix too. And I'm not saying that I don't do any of the above, I do, but I notice that whatever I want to do, the kids, oh, subhanallah, you'll have to tell me what the question was. I already answered it. The kids want to do what we want to do as well, right? They always want us to do they always want to do what we're doing. So if you're cooking and a lot of the parents are like, right, I've got to go and cook the food now, and you guys stay in this room and don't disturb me while I'm cooking, right? The kids are like, no, I want to come to you, I want to do it. And the parents are like, no, you just stay in there, right? Because what you're doing is you want that kind of, let's say, focused time to just do your cooking and get it out of the way. When your kids get involved, it takes twice as long, it makes twice as big a mess. I've been there, I completely understand what you mean. However, remember, we're talking about hacking the summer holidays. Remember, we're talking about making life more interesting for them and enjoying the holidays. So why not realize that it is going to take you twice as long and just start earlier? So if you know that normally everyone eats about 6 o'clock and you would start cooking at 5 normally, start at 4, because you know that the kids are going to come in, they want to get involved, you know, maybe they want to run to the corner shop for you, like whatever it is, you can do it if you have more time. And it, again, I'm just going to finish off now. SubhanAllah, I've been talking like monotone for like 40 odd minutes, but I hope that inshallah you guys have enjoyed the live today, and I hope that I've given you lots of ways to think about your parenting style, how to encourage the kids to do what you need them to do, to I'm just trying to hide that towel over there. So in terms of like what you need the kids to do, in terms of making it an adventure. And remember, everything that I said last week still applies now, because like for the first one, slow down, right? Okay, so start cooking earlier, right? Creating memories with the kids, exactly the same thing. Like just work on what they would like to do, yeah, what they would enjoy the most out of what's it called, out of the holidays. Make sure that there's enough time for you to enjoy the holiday as well. So look after yourself, get that cup of tea that you want, get that cup of coffee, and just sit in the garden and just enjoy and relax. My memories as a child, my best memories were in one of the houses that we lived, was in a very kind of my husband laughs when I say this, but like it's very close to the countryside. So there was like a lot of fields nearby, a lot of, you know, animals, like I said earlier, right? And I remember my mum and dad just got table and chairs in the garden, and they would just sit outside, and our conversations were outside, our life was outside, we would eat outside. So because it's that kind of, I don't know if it's the background that we're from back home in Pakistan, but again, that life is outdoorsy as well, isn't it, right? So eating outside, cooking outside, all of these things, that comes into what about food, what I was saying earlier about starting to cook earlier. You could also do things like have barbecues and cook outside, or have picnics and enjoy your food outside with the kids, right? Know that your routines should still sort of stay similar, but don't worry that it has to all be on schedule and all on a certain time, right? Give yourself that chance to to have a bit of, flexibility in, okay, they don't have to do it right now, and they can do it in a little bit of time. They can have some time. They can, what's the word? Do it later. Apologies, I've got a bit of an itchy eye there. And remember that we've got to go with the flow, right? So leave it to Allah. If it doesn't go as planned, if the house isn't tidy, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world if you didn't vacuum today, or your child didn't vacuum, or the person that was responsible for vacuuming didn't vacuum today. It's really not the end of the world, right? Okay, so what we need to do is understand that we're going to go with the flow, and inshallah, as much as we can keep to our routines and our schedules. But if it doesn't, then remember that life is a journey and things are going to change, and it's not always going to be the same all the time, and that's okay. Everything is fine. A final thing I want to mention is about sleep, right? Because one of the mums in homeschool group this morning was talking about during the holidays they feel like sleep kind of goes out of the window. But I want to come back to sleep is super important, because although they're on holiday, getting them to bed and waking up, right, having that routine is still really important. So although in the holidays or in the normal time, maybe you get them to bed like say 9, okay, maybe push it a little bit, 10, 11, even 12 if you want, right? It's up to you, whatever works for you and the family. So me personally, I'm a very I love like staying up late, and I don't like waking up early. So I will be able to do a lot more things late at night. So I'd rather my kids went to bed so that I can do those things late at night. Or if my kids are up late, I know that I've got to wake up early so that I can get these things done, because I didn't have time to do them then. So again, you're working with your schedules and routines and changing them to wherever fits, inshallah. So I hope and pray that you guys have basically enjoyed this live, and you've learned a lot from all of the different tips that I've got there for you. Remember to enjoy the holidays and add bits of, add things that you can do. One of the things that I'm doing today, inshallah, is meeting up with some of the mums from Supported we're actually going to go out to Tooting. So if you're from there and you're in Supported, please do join us. I have messaged in the WhatsApp group, but if you haven't received it or haven't seen it, then do join us, inshallah. We've got lots of mums in Supported now, mashallah, so we are looking forward to supporting all of you. And if you would like to join Supported, where you get help all the time, just like what I've talked about today, but basically on your terms, on the things that you're looking for help with, then please do just give me 1 second. I'll stick it here. Please do sign up for Supported, and inshallah we'll be having your own personal Q&A soon, inshallah. And I hope that everyone has a lovely, amazing holiday, and I will see you next week, inshallah, with our next topic. Off the top of my head, I've forgotten what it is. Oh no, it isn't. I remembered. It's about world schooling. So going back to our Homeschool Like a Pro series about schooling while you're traveling, which obviously goes with the holidays as well. So I hope that you'll join me next week, inshallah. And please do comment, follow, like, subscribe, share our content with other moms that we can help them with, inshallah, because the whole idea is that we do this together so we don't feel like we're alone. Because I think one of the most difficult things about parenting is that feeling of loneliness. And I've been out and about now to be honest with you, the first 2 weeks I didn't really leave the house, but was it yesterday, the day before we ended up in Westfield, and I noticed mums walking around alone with their kids, and I could see that they were a little bit let's say they didn't look stressed, to be honest with you, but I guess I would say the word is a little bit lonely, that I would say from some of the mums. And I really felt like saying to them, hey, join my tribe, but I don't really know how to say that. So if you guys have any ideas, or how would you feel if some random person came up to you and said, hey, I do this and join my tribe or whatever, let me know, inshallah, in the comments. Let me know on Facebook or on YouTube or in our WhatsApp chat. I've shared that link as well. Share that one for you so you can join us, inshallah. All right, sisters, thank you so much, and thank you for your lovely comments like this from Tawhida. Please do keep them coming and keep us in your du'as, because these are the things that keep us going, inshallah. And just as I was doing that, I noticed one of the banners that I think we must have shared this a while ago, but it was, a car doesn't run without fuel, and we need to fill our cups first. And this is so important, because during the holidays is your time to relax, recharge, and refresh, isn't it? So recharging ourselves and refueling ourselves is really, really important, to fill your cups and really like parent from a place of peace, inshallah. All right, sisters. Yep, I can show you that again. So just going back to that diagram, one of the sisters just want me to show it to her. So remember that we want to stay in this section as much as possible. We want to lead from the front. We don't want to be the drill sergeant or the teddy bear, and we definitely don't want to be a ghost, inshallah. We want to be there for the children and help them, to nurture them, look after them, and so on, but not so much that we're forcing them to do what we want. But remember that being with them all the time and supporting them, talking to them, praying with them, all of these things are going to help you to get into that section of being that warm leader, inshallah. All right, sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you so much for joining me today.